Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. Let's play Conqueror.
Now, as I've mentioned many times recently, I really don't enjoy PvP in this game anymore, and the only reason I do Conqueror is simply for the event center rewards and the event rewards. Obviously, it gives you things like mystery legendary items, telluric pearls, and normal gems as well. So it is always worth doing these events, even if you completely suck at them, just to get the rewards. So Conqueror is basically the same format as Tower War. The only difference here is that everyone is leveled out to the same levels. So you can see on my team, everyone is level 60, and things like legendary gems, secondaries should all be equaled out as well. So all team members and all members in the battle have everything equaled out to the same. So all legendary gems will be the same level, etc. Now, with Tower War, one thing to remember, not Tower War, sorry, with Conqueror, one thing to remember is the fact that you do not have all 8 of your legendary items active. So you do not have your second offhand or your second main hand. So it's really important to ensure you have the correct essences equipped on your main hand and your offhand as well. Otherwise, you will not basically get the exact effect that you are expecting from your build. Now, what I've done for my build here is I've kind of based this similar to my battleground build, but I have changed a couple of things around. So you'll have noticed that I don't have Disintegrate active, and instead I've gone for Lightning Nova. Now I've gone for the new Lightning Nova essence here, which does also mean that I do not have Lysana's Sorrow active on the chest. Now I know a lot of people do like to use that for Frostfield, and that is the reason why just now I threw Frostfield in the complete wrong place, because I forgot that I'd actually changed the essences on it. So I will go through build in a little while. For now, we're just trying to make sure that the towers are taken control of. I kind of ran towards that one because I don't know if you noticed on the minimap, but everyone ran away from it and no one had actually taken control of that tower. So we're going to go and head back to this side now. I generally try and stay in the middle for Conqueror, because obviously the most important thing is that we destroy the Guardian when it activates, and that pretty much defines who's going to win the battle overall. So that's what I'm trying to do, is kind of stay between these 2 central towers, or 3 central towers, and just keep running between all 3 of them. So let's move on to build. Starting off with the set items, we're using 4 pieces of Angmits. So the duration of your additional ignite status is increased by 30%, and there's a 15% chance of attaching an ignite status to an enemy when dealing damage with primary attacks or skills, dealing 23,889 damage over 3 seconds up to a maximum of 3. We're also using 4 pieces of Grace. All continual damage, channel damage, and persistent ground damage is increased by 15%. And each time you damage an individual enemy 5 times, you will do 19,909 additional damage to that enemy. So moving on to legendary items, starting with the Helm, we're using Vacia's Resourceful Countenance. Scorch now launches an electric orb that explodes on impact, creating an electric field that pursues enemies and inflicts them with shock. Scorch damage is increased 18%, and Scorch cooldown decreased 10% from the Awakened slot. On the chest, we're using Isolated Storm. Lightning Nova now calls a lightning orb to orbit you, dealing lightning damage to enemies it hits. Lightning Nova damage is increased 18%, and Lightning Nova damage increased 10% from the Awakened slot. For the shoulder, we've got Phoenix Mantle. Scorch radius is increased by 29%, and Scorch damage increased 10% from the Awakened slot. On the pants, we're using Frostbond. Frostfield now also shatters enemy armor, increasing the damage they take by 19% for 5 seconds. Frostfield cooldown is reduced by 10%. Moving on to main hand, we're using Radiant Splines. When Lightning Nova deals a critical hit, it emits a charged bolt that deals 12,875 damage. Cannot occur more often than once every 1 second. Damage is increased by 90%, and Lightning Nova damage increased 10% from the Awakened slot. And lastly, using Withering Chill on the offhand, Scorch critical hit chances increased 29% against chilled enemies and 50% against frozen enemies. Scorch damage increased 10% from the Awakened slot. Now, I have never seen this happen in Conqueror mode before, but we actually managed to win the battle without even taking down the Guardian, because we managed to get a high enough score. So I do feel like this game mode is quite bugged. I'm going to delve into that in a moment. Let's take a look at the scores first. I'm also going to show you how the build works that I've been using for this. So you can see here, although I'm ranked 4th for kills, I'm actually 2nd highest score on my team, so I was quite happy with that. And now taking a look at the build. So what you want to do is you're going to use Scorch Electric Orb. I've got one of my teammates from my clan here, so huge shout out to Philip for joining me for this. So what we're going to do is launch the Electric Orb. We're then going to use Frostfield on the player and jump in with that Lightning Nova, and it basically takes him down really easily. You can see I took him down pretty quickly there, and this works in Conqueror mode as well when you actually manage to jump in with that Lightning Nova like this. So it works as a really nice combination. It is quite risky if you're against strong players, so I wouldn't advise necessarily trying this in Battleground, although it may work. But in Conqueror, where levels are balanced out, this is pretty successful. Now, this second match was a total mess, and this is where I mean that I think it's quite bugged. Obviously, the last match we actually managed to spawn camp the enemy team, which doesn't normally happen in this mode again either. And you may remember that last time I played this, there were some things that seemed really off with this game mode, similar to Alley of Blood as well. So I'm not entirely sure what is going on with it, but we're going to take a look at a couple of clips and yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, so obviously I've just been dying from normal attacks here, but once I resurrect, you'll start to see what I mean about this mode potentially being super bugged. Now, I don't really know what was going on. As you can see on the minimap, there's no enemy players near, and all of a sudden here, what the hell? How did a barbarian kill me? A close combat player? How did they manage to kill me when they weren't even on the minimap or on my screen? What the actual? So yeah, that pissed me right off. This whole match was just a mess. Yeah, I don't know what was happening here. And in a moment as well, like right now, taking damage. How did I take damage? How has he killed me again? He is not even on the screen. Like, I don't know what happened. I wrote it in the chat. No one replied to me. But yeah, I don't know how this is possible. Especially, like I said, when the player isn't even on the minimap. When there's no red dot on the minimap, how is a barbarian killing me by not even being anywhere near? I do not get it at all. And here taking more damage, and then the player did suddenly appear, but they were actually showing on the minimap. So I don't really get what is going on with this game mode. It does seem like a total mess. Let me know if you've had similar experiences. A couple of people on my server have had the same, funny enough, against barbarians. So yeah, super odd. Answers on a postcard. Let me know in the comments. But that is it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.